This conference will now be recorded.
So today we'll talk about some of the Hive operations that we can do on some of the tables. So we will start with how to add the comments to the columns and tables. So why do we need to add comments to the columns and tables when we create tables in Hive? It's very important that, let's say you have created a table and after 6 months you have to again work on the same table. So there are chances that you might forget what those columns are on what that particular table is about. So it's a very good practice to create a table, or when you create the table, add the comments to the columns as well as to the table. So let's say how to add the comments to the columns and tables. And also we will try to include something called as if not exists when we create the table, so that it won't create any unnecessary failures in the future. So let's go to the Cloudera Quick Start Run to create a table with comments to the columns as well as to the table. Also, I'm going to include if not exists. So this is my Cloudera Quick Start VM. So I'm going to close these messages. So right click anywhere on the desktop, say open in terminal, maximize the screen, and terminal, set title, give it as Hive, click on OK, increase the font by clicking on view and zoom in. So I'm going to launch Hive first. So launching Hive will take some time, maybe around 10 seconds of time we'll have to wait. Hive shell has been launched. So let's see the list of all the databases first. Show databases. I don't have any other database apart from default database. I'm going to create a new database for today's session. Create database. If not exists, Hive underscore operations. So just to confirm that the database has been created, I can just run show databases. I can see the database name Hive underscore operations. Let us switch to the database Hive underscore operations. Show tables. I don't have any tables right now. So we'll create a table now. So meanwhile, I'm going to open one more terminal. You can click on this icon to open another terminal. Let's do that. So I'm going to use other terminal for running any of the HDFS or Linux commands. So let me set the title, terminal set title, HDFS/Linux. Click on OK. Then you can increase the font, click on view and zoom in twice. So first let me show the data that I'm going to use to create a table. So I'll go to my downloads folder because that's the place where I have my data downloaded. So I'll go to the downloads folder. I'm in downloads right now. I have a file called as orders. This is the file that I'm going to use. Headspace orders is the file name. Head is used to see the first 10 records in a file. Head is the Linux command. So I can see the data in this file. So based on this, I'm going to basically create a table out of this. Guys, just give me 1 minute. I'm getting an important call. Just 1 minute. Sorry for the interruption. So we have this data. So based on this data, let us create a table and let us also add comments to the columns and table. I'll go to my desktop, create document, empty file, let's say Hive operations. Double click and open that file, and let's start creating the table. So create table if not exists. Table name is orders. So I'm going to add the columns now. So order ID is the column name, which is of integer type. On order, date is of timestamp type, and order customer ID, which is of integer type. Order status, which is of string type. And then I'll have to mention row format, delimited fields, terminated by comma. So these are we generally create a table, but now I want to add comments to each of these columns. Since I can add comments by saying this comment. In the single quotes, you can mention a comment about this particular column. So unique order ID is nothing but a unique ID. So unique ID of the placed order. Then the next one is order date. So it's nothing but date on which the order has been placed. And then customer ID. ID of the customer who placed that order. And then the fourth one is order status. Current status of the placed order. So these are we can add comments to the columns. Now we can even add comment to the table as well. So you can just say comment table to capture the details of the placed orders. So this should be enough for us to create a table. So I'm using if not exist so that it won't fail again if you try to create a same table with the same name. And we're adding comments to each of these columns. And then we are adding comment to the whole table as well. Let's copy this completely. Go to the Hive terminal, right click and paste it. So the table should have been created by now. Show tables. I can see the table called as orders. So let us describe this table. Describe formatted. Table name is orders. And here you can see the comments that we are given to the columns, right? Column name, data type, and then the respective comment. Also, you can see the table level comment that we are given under the table parameters, right? So you can see the comment that we are given for the table. So that's how we can add comments to the columns as well as the table. So let us load the data into this table. So I have my data available in downloads folder here. So let me get the full path of the file. So home Cloudera downloads, the file name is orders. So let's load the data into this file. Sorry, let's load the data into this table. Load data, local in path. And then here I have to get the full path of my file. Home Cloudera downloads orders. So that's my file name. And you have to mention the table. So into table, what's the table name? Table name is orders. Let's copy this. Go to the Hive terminal. Right click and paste it. So the data has been loaded. Just to confirm, I can run select star from orders limit 10. So this will get me top 10 records, right? Also, you can observe one more thing. It's showing us number of files as one. So what is the meaning of number of files as one? If you can go and check your HDFS location, you should have a file there. So let's copy this entire path. Go to this HDFS terminal. Here you can just say HDFS HDFS -ls, give that path. So we have one file here. That's what is nothing but number of files as well. Also, let's do one more thing. Let's actually try to run this with ls with -h option so that we can see the file size completely correctly. So H stands for human readable file sizes. It's showing the size as 2.9 MB. Let's also check the total count of the records. Select count of star from orders. So this will run an mapper job to get the count of the records. So how many records do you have in our original file? So my original file is available in downloads. So the file name is orders, and I'm going to check the number of lines in that file by using WC. WC is nothing but word count, L is nothing but number of lines. So this file has got 68,083 lines. Now the same number of records must be there in the table as well. So it's running the mapper job. You can see the total count is showing as 68,083. Right? Now let's do one thing. Let's try to rerun the load command one more time and let us see the behavior. I'm not going to change anything. I'll just take the same load command and I will paste it as it is. It's not failing, but you have to observe one thing. Number of files showing us 2 now. So let's try to look at the HDFS location. Now have a look here. We have got one more file created with the same size, 2.9 MB and 2.9 MB, right? And look at the name of it, orders copy 1. So just to figure out the count of the records, let's try to run select count of star from orders. This should get me the count of the records. So let's try to do some calculations here. So initially, how many records we had? So initially we had 60,083 records, right? Now the same number of records have been loaded again, so the count of the records must be doubled. Plus 60,083, 137766. So that should be the count of the records. Have a look here. The count is showing as 137766. So again, we will talk about MapReduce in the next sessions, not now. So we will detailedly talk about how MapReduce works internally, but don't worry about for now. And we have a dedicated session for the same. For now, just observe that whenever we run some commands, it will run MapReduce jobs in the background, right? So as I was telling, so the number of records should be 137766, and you can see the count of the records is showing as 137766. Now why is it so? Because the reason is, if you can go and check your HDFS location, you have got the same files copied, because whenever you run load command, it works in append mode, right? So that's what I was about to tell. So whenever you run your load command, it will by default run in the append mode. That is, to the existing data, the data could be added or appended. So we can even override the same by using override option. Let's try to see how to override it. So it's very simple. You just have to add a keyword called as override. That will take care of overriding it. So just include override keyword here. That's all. It should actually go ahead and override the contents for you in HDFS. Let's run this query, copy it, go to the Hive terminal, right click and paste it. Observe here now the number of files is showing us only 1. Let's go to the HDFS location and check. This is before running override. Now as we have run override, it should have overwritten the contents. Let's run the command again. Observe here, we just have only one file. Also look at the current time. So the current time is showing as May 11th, 1851, which is the same timestamp for this file also. If you look at the old files, they were of 1846 and 1848. So basically, whenever we ran override, it went to this location, it removed these files completely, and it replaced that with this file, right? That's why you can see the timestamp of this file, right? Now let's look at the count of the record. So the count of the record should be back to 60,883. Let's confirm the same again. Select count of star from orders. This should be getting the count as 60,883. Let's wait and see. Have a look here. As expected, the count is showing as 68,883, right? So that's how we have seen clear difference between overwrite and append. So if you run the load command again, it will work in append mode. If you want to overwrite it, you can overwrite it by using overwrite keyword. So we have seen how to add comments to the columns and tables. We have seen the difference between overwrite and append. Now let's talk about truncating the tables in Hive. So right now, we have this table called as orders. I can just say show tables. I have this table called as orders, and I can see the structure of it by saying describe, and you can just give the table name orders, right? So this is fine. Now what will happen when I try to truncate the table? So one interview question that you would definitely get in the interviews is, what is the difference between drop and truncate? Drop will completely destroy the table, but whereas coming to truncate, your table structure will still be there. Your actual data in the HDFS could be cleaned up. So let me show it practically now. So just say truncate space table name is orders. But before that, let's try to see if we have the data coming or not. Select start from orders, limit 5. I can see the data. Now I'm going to truncate it by saying truncate space table name is orders. So the table has been truncated. Now whenever I say truncate, if I see show tables, I will have the table. Table will still be there. Now if I try to describe this table, I can still see the table structure, that is your table columns, data types, etc. But what happens to your actual data? Actual data which was supposed to be here, it won't be there. Let's run it and see the output now. There is nothing because we have truncated the table. When you truncate your table, the actual data and HDFS will go off. And that's why even if you try to say select star from orders, you will not get it. There is nothing, right? So remember the clear difference between drop and truncate. If you drop your table, you're trying to destroy the table completely. But when you say truncate, your table structure will still be there. Your actual data and HDFS will be deleted, right? So that's the difference between drop and truncate. Okay, there is one question in the chat which I've got. Let me try to do one thing. Let me just take that question and I will paste that question in the chat so that everyone can read it. So this is the question which I got in the chat. So how does it override the copy file as the file name is different? So it is not worried about the file name. So it is just concerned only about the location of your table data. So basically in the previous command which I was running override, right? what this will try to do is this will try to get the location of this orders table in HDFS. So what was the location? User Hive warehouse is the location, right? This is the place where all the database directories are available. Today we have created a database with the name called as Hive_operations. So it will go here and it will go inside this particular directory. We have a database table directory for orders. So this is the path where it will try to overwrite. It's not worried about the file names. It will just go to this path, override it, and then try to reload it again. Right? I hope that answers this question. Okay, yeah. So one entire question that I would like to ask here is, so we are able to truncate the manage table, right? We are able to truncate the manage table. So right now, if I can try to describe this table, this is a manage table. Let me do that. Describe formatted orders. Look at the table type. It's a manage table. Now, can I truncate an external table? That's the entire question. But we don't have any external tables right now. Do we have anything? We just have only one table. Let's create an external table. So it's very simple, right? How do you create an external table? Just copy this and I'm just going to include external keyword. And just to identify it easily, I'll just give the name as orders_ext. So that will be my external table. Let's copy it. Clear the screen, right click and paste it. So I have this external table created, show tables. I can see orders_ext. Let's also load the data into this table by using load command. Here the table name is different, so I'm going to rename the table name to orders_ext. Rest of the details remain same. So I have loaded the data into my external table. Select start from orders_ext. Let's try limit 10. So I have created an external table. I have loaded the data into the table and I'm able to query the same. Now my question is, can we truncate an external table, right? So if I describe this table, this is an external table. Let me show that. Describe formatted. Table name is orders_ext. And have a look at the table type. It's an external table. Can we truncate this external table? Let's try. So here I'm going to just say truncate space table space. Table name is orders_ext. The answer is you cannot. It will fail with a semantic exception saying cannot truncate non-managed table orders_ext. So you can truncate only managed table. You cannot truncate an external table, right? Because there is a reason behind it, right? External tables, as the name suggested, may be used by other components, right? Now, if you try to accidentally truncate the table, external table, then other components which might be using the data of these external tables might be impacted. So that's the reason why the external tables cannot be truncated. Only the managed tables can be truncated. So it is also one of the entire question, right? Can we truncate both managed and external tables? No, we cannot truncate an external table. We can truncate only the managed table, right? So that's with respect to the truncating of the tables in Hive. We have seen with respect to both managed table and external table. So we have been loading the data into the Hive tables by using the files that is there in the local Linux file system. Now let me show you how to load the data into the Hive tables from HDFS location. So I should first copy the file into HDFS. So I'm going to use put command to copy the file into HDFS. HDFS space DFS happen put. The file name is orders, and we are going to copy it into user Cloudera path. This is the HDFS location. Okay, we already have that file. Let's go and verify the same. So I have this file already with me. So, okay, sorry, this is not a file. This seems to be a directory. Okay, let's do one thing just to avoid any of the confusion. I'm going to clean up everything that I have in my HDFS. Then I'll try to copy the file. So I should not have anything right now. I don't have anything. I'm going to run put command to copy the file into HDFS. So the file should have been copied now into HDFS. And you can see the file is available here. I'm going to use this file to load the data into the table. So it's very easy again. So you just have to make one simple change. So let's do one thing. Let's go back to the Hive terminal. So if you remember, we have two tables, right? Manage table and external table. So this manage table has been truncated. Just to confirm that this doesn't have any table, any data, I'm going to query it again. This doesn't have anything. Now our goal is to load the data into this table, but this time we are going to use the file which is available in HDFS. That is this file. So I'm going to use load command once again. A small modification is required. As the file is in HDFS now, I should not use local. I'm going to remove local. And also the path changes, right? So let me go ahead and get the path of my HDFS location. So this is the HDFS location path. Just copy it and paste it here. And the rest of things remains it. Just copy it, go to the Hive terminal and paste it. Now you should be able to query the table. Select star from orders, limit 10. I can see the data. So that's how we can even load the data from the files which are available in HDFS into the Hive tables. Right. Okay, one question which I got in the chart is this. Can we delete particular records in a table? So the answer is yes, we can delete the particular records in a table in Hive, but it is supported in the very latest versions of Hive. Right. So to answer your question, yes, it is possible, but only in the latest versions of Hive. Okay. Now I want to talk about three different ways of connecting to Hive. Three different ways of connecting to Hive. So out of this, we are already aware of Hive CLI. So whatever you have been using is nothing but Hive CLI. It's nothing but command line interface. This is also called as Hive shell or Hive terminal. Then the second way is nothing but Hue UI. So Hue stands for Hadoop user experience. Of course, you know that UI is nothing but user interface. And the third one is nothing but BeeLine. Right. So we are already aware of the first one. Let me try to move to the second one, which is nothing but Hue. Hue stands for Hadoop user experience. Bhavan is asking one question: did we copy orders file from local Linux file system to HDFS by using put command? Yes, that is correct. Put command is used to copy the files from local file system to HDFS. Okay, I was talking about Hue. So let me go to the Cloudera Pix.vm. I'm going to open the browser. You can see at the top there is a browser symbol. So I'm going to open the browser. So here you can click on navigation, click on Hue UI. I'm going to enter the username and password. Username is Cloudera. Password is also Cloudera. Click on sign in. So here you can actually click on this drop down editor and click on Hive. On the left hand side, you should be able to see the list of all the databases that you created. You can see that we have default database and Hive operations. Just click on Hive operations. So this has got two tables, orders and orders underscore ext. So you can click on one of the table. Let's click on orders table, and you should be able to see the list of all the columns in it. Order ID, which is of integer type, order date, which is of timestamp type, and so on. So you can even run any of your Hive queries within this editor. Suppose if I want to see the show databases, I can just say show databases. See, one good thing with respect to Hive is it will make your life easy. It will give you a lot of suggestions before you even start typing it. Right? You can see that I'm just saying DA. It's saying that okay, there is one matching command with databases. Is this what you're looking for? Yes. You can just click on it and select it, and then you can see that there is a play button here. I'm going to click on this play button, and it executed, right? And you can see the list of all the databases here. Let me switch to Hive underscore operations. Use space Hive underscore operations. Click on this play button again, and I have switched to this database. I can run any valid Hive query now. Suppose, let's say I wanted to see the list of all the tables, show tables. Click on this play button again. Now you should be able to see the list of all the tables, right? So the point which I want to convey here is, it will give a lot of suggestions that, it will make your life easy. You don't need to type much. Select star from. It will even give you the table names also. Let's say I wanted to see the top 10 records from orders. Even if I just type L, it will give you all the possible values. Let's say limit 10. Then click on this play button. Scroll down and you can see the top 10 records, right? Along with the column names. Also, you can see the list of all the queries that you have done by clicking on this query history. That will give you the complete list of all the queries that you run till, right? So that's how we can use Hive. Hive stands for Hadoop User Experience. Right? And moreover, remember that as a developer, we will not use Hive much. Hive is mainly meant for the managers and business analysts who are not so familiar with Hive, who are not so familiar with Hive queries. But as a developer, most likely we'll be using either Hive CLI or BeeLine. So we got an idea about how to use Hive. This should be enough for now. So I can go ahead and close that browser. I don't need this for now. Now I will talk about BeeLine. But before talking about BeeLine, let me show you one of the problem with respect to Hive CLI. So I'll go to the Hive CLI here, and here I'm trying to see the top 10 records. Suppose I wanted to see the column names also along with the data. Then I have to set one of the property, Hive space -e set, and I'll try to grep for header. So this will try to get me the list of all the properties which contains header in it. Let's copy this property, go to the Hive terminal, set space that particular property name. So it's showing us false right now. I'm going to change it to true. And I can check the value again, showing us true. Now I will try to see the contents in the table. Select star from orders, limit 10. So I can see the data and I can also see the column names. but they are not so neatly formatted, right? You can see order ID, order date, order customer ID, order status. It's again not so neat. It's not so pretty, right? So this is one problem. So let us see how to solve this problem by using BeeLine. So BeeLine will give you actually a lot more flexibility. Also, one more thing which I would like to show is I would like to disconnect from Hive by using Control D. And if you see these last two lines, that's an indication that you are trying to disconnect from Hive. Try to launch Hive one more time. So when you try to launch Hive, there is one suggestion that is coming up here saying, warning, Hive CLI is deprecated, migration to BeeLine is recommended. Right? So even there is a suggestion to use BeeLine over Hive CLI. I'm going to open one more terminal. Click on view and zoom in. Terminal, set title, give it as BeeLine. Click on OK. I'm going to say BeeLine space -u JDBC colon Hive 2 colon // This should be able to connect to the BeeLine now. So it's connecting to BeeLine. Now you can see that I'm inside BeeLine now. I can run all the same queries that I've been running in Hive CLI. So you can say show databases. It will get me the list of all the databases. I can switch to Hive underscore operations. Right now I can just say show tables. I can see the list of all the tables. Let me try to see the top 10 records in orders table. Select star from orders, limit 10. Have a look at this, a lot more neat and clean, right? So this is one of the reasons why I would preferably go with BeeLine. Also, let us describe this JDBC. Okay, it must be seeing, right? So JDBC basically stands for Java database connectivity. Java database connectivity. So that's the meaning of JDBC. So we have seen top 10 records. It's looking very neat and clean. Also, let us describe the table. Describe formatted orders. Now have a look here. This is again a lot more neat and clean, right? So this is one of the reasons why we preferably wanted to go with BeeLine over Hive CLI. There are a lot more other advantages also. So let me show you how to create a simple Hive script, and I'll show you how to run that script. So in home Cloudera path, I'm going to create a simple script in Hive. Let's say my Hive script .html. So that is the name of my script, and I'll go to the insert mode. That's going to be a very simple script, show databases, and switch to the database called as Hive underscore operations. And you can just say select start from orders, limit 10. So this will be my simple script in Hive. I'm going to save one comment of this. I have this simple script created, right? Now I would like to run this script. I would like to run this script from my Hive CLI. So if you have to run it from your Hive CLI, you have to say source space that entire path of your script. So it's available in home Cloudera. The script name is myhivescript.html. Is this .html mandatory? It is not, but it is a good practice. HQL stands for Hive Query Language. So it's a good practice to use .html at the end of Hive script so that you can easily recognize that that's a Hive script. Let us run this Hive script now from Hive CLI, home Cloudera, my Hive script.html. So have a look here. It is trying to basically show the list of all the databases, and it is connecting to Hive underscore operations. Then I can see the top 10 records, right? Now we can even run the same script from BeeLine also. Similar approach. Source home Cloudera my Hive script.html, right? So again, we got the similar output. So I can see the list of all the databases. It's trying to connect to the Hive underscore operations. Then I can see top 10 records in order step. Now, can I run this script from Linux shell or Linux terminal? Let's do it. I'll try to use Control D to come out of Hive shell. So if you see these two lines, that's an indication that we are disconnecting from Hive CLI. Now I'm going to use Hive space -f to run the script. Remember that I'm in my Linux terminal right now. Home Cloudera. The script name is my Hive script.html. So have a look here. It is first trying to basically connect to Hive, right? And then it is trying to first run the list of all the databases, show databases. And then it is trying to switch to the Hive underscore operations database, and then it is getting me the list of top 10 records from this table. And then finally, it's disconnecting from Hive, right? So there is one question in the chart. So why the column names are not showing up? Because remember that whatever property that you have set, right, this property will stay only within that Hive CLI. If you come out of that Hive CLI, you have to set this property again. So that's why you're not seeing these column names, right? Okay, now I'm going to rerun the same script by using BeeLine approach. Now, first of all, how to disconnect from BeeLine? You have to use exclamation symbol and Q to disconnect from BeeLine. You're back to your normal Linux terminal. So I'm going to run the script from Hive CLI -f home Cloudera my Hive script.html. So observe here clearly. So first it is trying to connect to BeeLine and it is running show databases and we got the output. And it's trying to switch to Hive operations and we got the output. And also we can see that we are trying to get top 10 records from the table. And finally, it must be closing the connection to the BeeLine. So one thing that you have to notice here is when you're running the script by using Hive CLI approach, it is not showing us what exactly is being run internally, right? It is directly giving us the output. But when you run it by using BeeLine approach, you can clearly see what is being also run. This will also help us in understanding better. So this is another reason why we would like to prefer to go with BeeLine over Hive CLI. So here, when we are trying to connect to BeeLine, we are using Hive 2. It's nothing but Hive server 2. So it's nothing but Hive server 2. Okay. Now I want to talk about how to drop the databases. So how to drop the databases. So when I say dropping the database, all the tables in the database also should be removed. So let's connect to Hive once again. So what have we learned? If you go to user Hive warehouse path, you should see all the database directories, right? So let's go to that path. User Hive warehouse. So user Hive warehouse directory is a place where you should be able to see the list of all the database directories. So we have created a database today called as Hive underscore operations, and you can see the corresponding directory here. Now my goal is to drop this database called as Hive underscore operations. So if I say show databases, and I can see this database called as Hive underscore operations. Let me switch to that. And I can say show tables. and I would like to basically drop this database called as Hive underscore operations. But remember that, whenever I mean dropping the database, it should also drop these tables also, right? So how do you do that? So you just have to say drop space database name is Hive underscore operations. But this will fail because the reason is database is not empty, one or more tables exist. So if your database have tables, then if you run drop database, it won't work, right? Now to fix this problem, we have to use cascade. If you use cascade, it will take care of dropping all the tables internally, and it will finally drop this database also. Hit enter. Now you should not see any error. I don't see any errors. Do we still have the database? I don't have the database, right? So what about the database directory that we had here? Is it still there? It's not there, right? Remember that whenever you drop your database, the corresponding directory in HDFS under user Hive warehouse path also gets deleted, right? So that's with respect to dropping the databases. So also based on a previous session and today's session, I got some interview questions for you. So what I would suggest is go through yesterday's recording, practice everything, go through today's recording and practice everything, then come back to these interview questions and try to answer this, right? Of course, I'll be providing the answers to these questions in a separate file so that you can cross check. Right, so I have got a couple of assignments also. If you get some time, try to solve the assignments also. Whatever data sets that you require to solve these problems, I'm going to upload the data sets also in today's folder. You can have a look and solve these assignments also.
Hello, Amshigaru. This is Sundar. This is my first session. So, where can I find all the links and the material of the previous classes?
Okay, Sindhu. So you can do one thing, Sindhu. So you can put your email ID and WhatsApp number in the chat box. I will give you the.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Surya.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Surya is asking for the roadmap of this course. So Surya, you have my number, right? So just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll share you the roadmap of this course. Okay, folks. Yeah, I think we're good for today. Let us meet tomorrow then. Yeah. See you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.